When it comes to building a personal brand, do you really like the brand or do you love the skin you're in? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, is how as a pharmacist, you can take your passion along with your skills in serving an unmet need for your audience. And that exactly is what a personal brand is.
I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today.
Guys, I'm super stoked for this episode because by serendipity, honestly, I met this amazing pharmacist that you're going to meet. And she is one of the biggest badasses I have ever met because she is like hustled to the max. This woman does so much for not only the profession of pharmacy, for the 30 plus pharmacists that she leads, for the students she serves as a preceptor, but she has launched a business that is not a side hustle. It is a business that is her dream to be a legacy for her daughter. This is not some MLM type thing. This is raw and real, from scratch, pharmacist formulated products that are making over $10,000 a day in sales. So this woman is just absolutely incredible for so many reasons. And I want to introduce her to you now. Her name is Allyson Brennan, and she is a pharmacist with over 13 years experience specializing in neurology and is now a hospital clinical pharmacy manager in Nashville, Tennessee. She received a BS in psychology as a minor in chemistry and biology as an undergrad from Millsaps College, then went on to receive her BS in pharmaceutical sciences, then her PharmD from the University of Mississippi. Oh, geez, you're making me like go so hard here. But here's the cool thing, guys. Regardless of all the amazing things she's doing in pharmacy, she took a step further because she had this calling. She had this passion that she wanted to express in a different way. So this year, the year of all years, she founded and created her own natural skincare company called Emogene Co, focusing on effective natural skincare and the science behind purposeful ingredients. She created this company after noticing the skincare industry producing products that were full of toxic and ineffective filler ingredients. And as a child, looking back, she was inspired by her grandmother, Emogene, who had a remedy for every skin issue or ailment. Throughout her professional career as a pharmacist, she noticed how she was drawn to medicinal chemistry and how specific molecules affected organs in the body. After becoming a mother, she began to focus on what molecules are available straight from the earth to provide nutrition for the largest organ we have, our skin. In less than a year, Allison has grown her company organically, filling over 5,000 individual orders, and is also selling in 11 locations, including dermatology clinics and medical spas, all while continuing to work full-time in pharmacy administration during the day. So, she's dabbling. She's just here and there, right? But guys, it's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to the Fit Pharmacist Healthcare Podcast, Dr. Allyson Brennan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam, you make people feel so special with these introductions. Thank you for all those kind words.
My pleasure. I'm going to put hype man on my resume because I think
yes, you should. You should.
Yeah, I get that
It's
a lot.
talent.
So I might as well market that and make that part of my brand too.
You should.
Well, thank you. So it's just crazy, man. Like the stuff that you've accomplished and are doing for pharmacy is absolutely extraordinary. And I always ask the same question because all of us have the same degree, but the way we go about it is totally different. So before we get into the incredible impact and success that you've created for your company, for your pharmacists that you lead, and for yourself, can you just kind of give us a little insight into what led you to pharmacy in the first place?
Yeah, sure. So I started with an undergrad degree, and as I was in undergrad, I truly wanted to go to vet school. I wanted to specialize in equine leg surgery. I was a competitive horse woman, I guess I could say at that time. And ultimately I decided against it just because of what the environment looks like when people are sick versus animals are sick. And I really knew that I loved chemistry. I love the way molecules work. Totally nerd out in that space. And at that point in time, pharmacy was not what it is now. There was a lot more open opportunities. It wasn't as saturated as it might be now. And all I knew as a pharmacist was a hospital pharmacist or retail pharmacist. I really knew nothing more than that, but started to research a little bit more about it, saw that it was something that really spoke to the things that I was passionate about, applied to pharmacy school after I finished my 4-year degree, got in, worked my way through pharmacy school, and ultimately you get to that crossroads in pharmacy school of what is the niche kind of specific look of the pharmacy work I want to do. And I had spent time in some retail, through internships and things like that, working through pharmacy school. And hospital, for some reason, really spoke to me with the clinical kind of decision making and rounding on patients and recommendations. It just really spoke to that ability to change a patient's life in that moment for me. So I ended up applying for a job right out of pharmacy school, got accepted at Huntsville Hospital in Huntsville, Alabama, received a lot of ortho and neuro training there. That's where I got the majority of all of my training. 3 years in that specific location, found my way to Nashville. Been here ever since. Started with a medical center here, a large medical center in downtown Nashville, spent 9 years there, really focusing on relationship building with my physicians, with my other pharmacists, with your nurses. I took my neuro training and really grew it in this facility. They didn't have a really robust neuro program at that time. And at the time I came in, we also had a neurointensivist who was ready to grow that program. So we paired up. He was so wonderful to respect a pharmacist opinion and what they brought to the table in an interdisciplinary manner of how you take care of your patients. And we worked together on everything, process improvement, order set building, rounding, anything, P&T involvement, anything he needed. I built that relationship, and then it went on to build with our neurosurgeon group. From there, I grew my kind of interest into more leadership. And I'm kind of a natural born leader, and just with who I am. And I had a lot of those opportunities where people would ask me, are you ready to go into management? I never thought I was, I just never thought I was, but I really did so much in the neuro realm that I saw myself leading and speaking at neuro conferences. And I really started to shift my focus there. So 2 years ago, I just had my 2-year anniversary at my new facility, which is a sister facility right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Sister facility to my original facility. I'm the pharmacy clinical manager there. So I manage the pharmacist, elevate our pharmacy, like the clinical program, of the value that pharmacists bring to an interdisciplinary approach to patient care, growing the authority that the pharmacists have in the space of patient care, and pretty much just all the things that come with management.
Wow. Dude, how do you, how many pharmacists do you manage right now?
So right now it's around 20 right now.
20.
We have an operations manager that manages our technicians, and then I manage about 20. Yeah, and we have a lot of people that will come in and out of our facility, shared staffing if I have some holes in our schedule. So it could be anywhere up to 25, but our full-time staff is 20.
That's absolutely incredible. And I think that's such a great kind of, I guess you could say, sampling of all the different areas in pharmacy. And with those, there's so many different nuances and lessons to learn. But you bring all of these things of pharmacy practice and your main interest being chemistry, but you've got that psychology, you've got the neurology, you've got all of the relationship focused skills really for how to build the pharmacy practice and elevate patient care, which I think is absolutely incredible because it's such a unique career path with where you've gone and where it's led you to today. And this is where I want to kind of go next. So you're crushing it. Seriously, like boss status with pharmacy. But you have this burning passion inside to take your creativity and tell us about so you get into this new business, right? On the side. I don't even know
on the
that.
side.
Yeah, your full-time on the side interest. So tell us about, like, how did you get into skincare? How does a pharmacist who's crushing it so well and just dominating her career do this other thing that is seemingly unrelated, but really it's very related?
Yeah.
So tell us, like, what led you to skincare from what you're doing as a pharmacist?
It's so crazy because I think the way I think, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but either you're math and science based, like a black and white, very science factual based, or you're very artistic. And I feel like I lost my artistic creative side when I was 4, like very young, but I have found a way to connect the two for me. And I'm so passionate about it. I think that's what really speaks to the growth, that and relationship building. We are human beings. We are not robots. We are all built for connection. So being able to relate and be relevant to other people is one of the most important things you can do in any type of service industry. So I'm in a service industry in healthcare, and I'm also in a product-based industry now, but it's also really is service. It's building the trust, building the relationships, having a wonderful product for people to use, but knowing that they need to feel comfortable coming back to you for recommendations and for kind of growing your brand in their life. So for me, about 2 years ago, I wanted to take better care of my skin. I mean, I always have, but I also I'm a sun worshiper and everything. So the older I got, I was like, I need to start to take care of the skin. So I bought a $150 vitamin C serum. It really started there. I turned on the back of the label, and just being that chemistry mind, I just was like, I just want to know, where is the vitamin C in this? I didn't see ascorbic acid. I saw a derivative, and I was like, what is that? It started with Googling the back of a label. And then from there, I just Googled every other ingredient on that label. And then I started to look at the difference between synthetic and pure ingredients. From there, it grew into essential fatty acid ingredients. From there, it grew into what are actives, what are non-actives, what are fillers, what are things that are harmful to our skin that might give a nice feel to a product. Just everything started down a rabbit hole of just an open-ended exploration, really. And as I went deeper and deeper into this knowledge base, I became more and more passionate about it. So it combined this science I understood with this complete creativity I'd never tapped into. And I started to dabble. I just started to dabble. With a vitamin C serum, I was like, I can make this. I started to do the calculations. What's the pure versus synthetic? I ordered ingredients, and I literally sat at my kitchen counter and made a vitamin C serum. After I made it, I didn't tell anybody, and I would say probably 3 weeks later, I was having compliments on my skin from friends or family, and they were just asking what I was doing. And I told them I'm making a black market vitamin C serum for myself. So they asked me to do the same for them. And so I really just started there. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I made a stretch mark cream that prevented stretch marks, and it worked amazing. I made a body polish that I absolutely love. So it started with this DIY kind of approach, but really with a science background of understanding effective ingredients, what's not effective, what is there that's actually harmful. Why would we put that in something to put on our skin? We all forget that our skin is the largest organ. It absorbs everything. We take it for granted. So with that, I think mindset, becoming a mother and focusing more on what I'm putting on my daughter's skin, I started to walk the walk, right? If I'm not going to put something bad on her skin, why would I do it on mine? So I really started creating there. And after I created that, and people started to ask me, about these items, I mean, it was just friends and family. I said, I can do this. Let me just put something out there. And it was very easy for me to know what I wanted to name my company. My grandmother, Emogene, I'm named after her. My daughter's named after her. Both of our middle names are Emogene. And she was a substantial figure in my life. And this lady was one of those women who could make something out of nothing. She had literally remedies for anything, just anything. She was the most amazing cook. Just everything she did, she knew how to make something effective. And she was just super instrumental in my life. So I named it Emogene Co. And Co really speaks to the people that helped me make this happen now, So I started with a company. an LLC. And, I was a baby when I learned about this. I'm still learning so much. And I started with a few facial oils that really focus on essential fatty acid components of why that is actually good for your skin, and being able to provide the education to people that wanted that knowledge. And then I started with the vitamin C serum and a couple of other products. And literally in a year, it was January when I started. I now have 21 products. I have 3 that are still in testing right now for 2021. And I have a couple of employees now that are able to help me as we scale this. So that's where we are.
Wow. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like inspired. I'm ready to go. Let's
ready to go make a skincare product now?
Oh man, but no, what you shared is so fascinating, because it's the framework of what a brand is. And so you're looking for a solution, and the existing solution you come to find is trash. It's not up to your standard of quality. So because you want a solution, you take a look at, what are my natural skills? Okay, I'm good at chemistry and this and that. What are my interests? Skincare and chemistry. You find that overlap. You then go and do a deep dive in finding out the best way, the resources, you do your research. You do the thing, you make the product. It's so effective, people notice it, and then you don't go out at like looking for customers. They come to you because what you're doing is working so well. You have a proven concept. And then your audience starts to realize, oh wait, what I'm doing is not working, or I'm not doing the right thing, or I'm not doing anything at all. Can you guide me to find a similar solution to my problem of skincare? And that, guys, that's the framework for a brand. And then what you're doing is so incredible. And because it's working, right, over and over again, it's growing and scaling at a massive rate, which is where I met you on the wonderful world of Instagram just a few months ago. I think I was actually on a walk and I get a DM from you. Yeah, I was on a walk. I think it was either after working a 13-hour shift or in the morning of, because I work retail. But yeah, so we just start talking, and I just look at your page and I'm like, this is cool, because I could see your genuineness shine through. And I just asked you some questions and I was like, holy crap, like this woman's a hustler. Like, what is this? So yeah. So then we start talking about, personal brand. And I ask you, like, what's your goals? What's your brand look like? And here we are today. So yeah, that's kind of what I want you to share, is your insight into, did you go into your process as, I'm going to build a brand, or did you go into the process of, I need to make something that works?
That's a really interesting question, because honestly, Adam, it's so funny. Like, if I think about where I started, where my mind was when I started this, it was creating a solution to a problem. And although there are a ton of really wonderful skincare companies out there, there are some that are there for sales, and there are some that are truly there for the benefit of a customer. I think that what I'm finding this year in creating a company and being a pharmacist is, there's so many overlays to what I do as a pharmacist and I do now. I find them every day. Like, for instance, we're pharmacists. A lot of your listeners are pharmacists. Because we are able to provide medication education, and we are the gurus of medications, doesn't mean that we believe at throwing medications over medications over medications. A lot of what a patient would help a patient is diet and exercise, right? But in this day and age, a lot of people throw medications there. We know what that looks like when you start to throw a lot of medications at someone with interactions and side effects. So I think we're there to really streamline what's effective for a patient and how to make it effective in their body and in their life. The same goes with what I've created here. I don't think you need to throw ingredients on ingredients on ingredients. I think that you need to find really effective ingredients that work and pull away the other stuff that is just there for no benefit. That's really the process of where my mind started when I created this. And from there, it grew because of the effectiveness of the products. I'm not someone who wants to put out 50 products every year to create confusion around how to take care of your skin. Right. I'm there to increase your education of how to increase nutrition and the health of your skin, and age gracefully. We're going to age. It's really about aging gracefully, but taking care of your skin. So I want to have an effective, accessible skincare company for people. They know they can trust what I'm putting out, as well as they can trust me for giving them recommendations of what you need and you don't need. So that's where it started. And where it is now is learning that it's grown arms. It's not friends and family anymore, only. It's really people from all over, internationally and nationally. And I don't take that very lightly. I want to make sure that what I put out is good stuff for people, and that they can follow very simple guidelines to feel really good about their skin. And we want people, as pharmacists, we want them to feel good in their health and in their body. So there's so many overlays between it just being a natural progression when I found something that I was passionate about to really apply, I think, my personality and my learning, and then finding someone who just randomly is a pharmacist, but knows how to help people really grow a brand and the strategies behind that. I mean, it's serendipitous for sure that you and I found each other, because the knowledge base that you've given me just in a short amount of time are things like actual business models, asking questions that I thought I already had the answers to, but I didn't, really going deeper into the why of what you're creating. Because if you want to create and you want to continue to grow it, you have to be solid in what that backbone is of your company. The other thing is, you are so kind and generous with your time, but also your resources, that you want to help people grow in that manner. That, on top of the creative brain you have, I mean, it might be sitting right in front of me of a really great customer base, but I'm so over here in a focus because I'm spinning, 70 plates at once. It's nice to have someone who can think outside the box and that can help guide you in a place that you, maybe an arena you didn't focus on. And I think that's what I've gotten for sure from you, with your program and with my time with you, just over Zoom calls and Instagram messages, is all of that plays into growing a brand. It's not just having a product and having a company name and then having people spread it for you. There's a strategy behind it and the right people behind you to grow that.
100%. And I appreciate the kind words, but I do have to correct you. You said 70 plates, but I think it's more like 170.
It's a lot. And my daughter's a toddler now, so that adds about 15 plates to that one plate.
Absolutely. But yeah, guys, so, I mean, you can hear her passion shine through. And I could see that through just the conversations we had through Instagram DMs initially. But then I took a look back, because you guys probably know that unfortunately the norm is say one thing, do another. Well, I started to see what she was saying, what she was doing was lining up perfectly. So I said, all right, I want to learn more about you and what you're about, because you're the real deal. So we had a Zoom call, and 5 minutes in, you're like, wait, I need to get a notebook.
I did.
And I just started asking questions. I'm like, holy crap, you've got so much going for you. You have literally these fires, like good fires of progress all over. What I propose, and I gave you some ideas, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what I want to do is take so you've already got the resources, you already got the stuff going on. I want to converge those and turn that fire into napalm. So literally, you're the go-to expert in what you're doing. So really take what you're passionate about, what your skills are, and use those in service to your audience so that you can create culture and community in your personal brand, so that you have more than product. And the product's amazing, by the way. That's honestly the driving force behind it, because the stuff works. But looking at just what you said and why you got into pharmacy, it's all based on relationships. And that single thing is one of the first things that you told me about your beliefs and your brand and your business and how you do pharmacy as a pharmacist. So I think that's definitely one of your secret formulas, but also the realization in the work we've done is looking at that skill transfer, because you have so much success in your life. It's just taking what you've already proven as a proven concept with your victories and then saying it worked here. That's the same strategy. All you have to do is change the lens to over here. And that's when it started really exploding. But it's just been so cool to see the process. And honestly, I've learned a lot from you too. So I ain't taking no credit there, because you've been doing the work. You've been doing your magic chemistry, Harry Potter formulations. But no, it's just been such a joy. And in going through, you've gone through the Script Your Brand e-course online, and you've really gotten into the mastermind community. And that's really where the cool magic is, with the, live videos that we have where I come in, and the collaborations that you have with other members in the group. But that's what it's all about, is building those relationships, and you saying like, oh, I'm looking at doing this. I'm like, oh, I know a guy. Oh, I'm looking at doing this. Oh, I know a girl. So it's sharing those networks, just coming back to that main point. It's all about the relationships, in not being the jack of all trades, but having a strong enough network and relationships with that, so that you can pair someone that has that answer, that experience, that expertise with where you're looking to go, in taking that fire and really dousing it with gasoline. And that's exactly what you're doing, but you're the gasoline for sure.
Well, I mean, exactly what you said. I mean, I've always been someone who enjoys building relationships with people. I'm a people person, but what a company, and for me being a product-based market in skincare, is how do you grow this? That's the ultimate goal. If you're going to start a brand, you're going to start a business, you don't do that unless you want to grow that. You want to reach people and increase your visibility. And so the way you do that is you have other people help you do that. Yes. And you have to take your hands off the reins, and you have to really, like you said, converge and condense all of these ideas you have and really streamline it into one strong kind of network. I think that we continuously are growing and changing, but that is one thing that has to stay very succinct and a backbone of your company. So as I'm growing and, I'm finding new stores or clinics that want to carry my brand, they're reaching out to me now, but I still have that hustle of going and building the relationship first. I want them to know the brand. I want them to know me, and I want them to be passionate about what they're carrying in their store, in their clinic or spa. Not just it's another brand they hear wonderful things about. I think when you tie a relationship to something, it increases the power and impact of it so much. So that, and I think another thing that speaks to that is I am in the middle of some real collaborations, is this word we throw around so much, but it's a partnership for sure, with some amazing companies that want to see me succeed and I want to see them succeed. And I genuinely enjoy partnering with them. And what that does logistically for a business is they give a reach to you that you might not have had, right? 100%. But at the same time, they can speak to who you are and your brand because of the relationship you built. It all boils down to that relationship. And then you got to have something to back it up, right?
100%. And what you shared when our first call months ago, that was your belief. I was like, yes, you get this. And it's interesting because most people that look to build a brand are strictly on social. And I say this all the time, a personal brand is 20% at best on social media. It's how you show up every day in your interpersonal relationships and interactions. But you're the opposite, because most people are looking for social media and then, hesitant to go there. You're the total opposite. You're out in the community. You've been to like 20 stores today, going and taking names, kissing babies, all this stuff. But I'm like, you've got all this magic. We just need to just translate that over to the social media, because you were on there, you're doing the stuff, but just giving that little guidance and taking all the awesome ideas that you have here and aligning those, just like you said, so it's a straight shot with total focus. That's what you've been doing. And I'm just curious to ask, since we've been working together, what kind of outcomes, what kind of changes, either in beliefs or results, have you seen in how you mentally show up at the pharmacy with your brand, and what directions you're looking to go with Emogene and with the pharmacist within you?
Well, I never want to give up what brought me here, right? What brought me here is pharmacy and the knowledge base I learned through the schooling that we all go through. So I will always be a pharmacist, number one. Now, as this company grows, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I already need about 32 hours in a day.
We talked about this.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot. So, it really depends on how that plays out. And I think that, like I said, it is a continuous moving ball of energy. And you figure out when you're there what feels right for you personally and for your family, for your quality of life. I'm a workhorse. I literally have to physically be removed from a lot of things to stop working. And that's not always a good thing either. A lot of what you focus on is self-care of calming our mind, and I know that, right? I know the psychology behind that, but I'll be like, let me do these 5 other things and I can calm my mind. And then 3 hours later, let me do these more 2 things and calm my mind. You have to be strong in all areas to be able to succeed and be there for the long game.
100%.
It's a long game that you play when you decide to start a company like this. And I have to remind myself of that daily. So I think the things that what does the future look like? I want to grow this brand as big as I can without, and I tell you this a lot, without sacrificing the integrity of the ingredients, but it is the experience, and it is that customer experience and that relationship that I can build with people and them with my brand. So that is the goal. And I think the things I've learned most from you just in the short amount of time that we've worked together is, number one, it's nice to meet other people that are just as crazy and hustlers as I am. I thought maybe I was alone in this world, and you have really, really brought to light some wonderful resources for me of just the people you've already connected me with that share the exact same entrepreneurial spirit, but have the drive that you have to have drive to finish pharmacy school. It just is what it is. That is a long game in itself, right?
Yes, it is.
So you already know that these people have drive that you connect with in a pharmacy, world in this space. But when you meet people that are wanting to become an entrepreneur on the side, you know that they have an extra bit of grit to them. And then it's really honing in on what makes them tick. And the things that you offer is really weeding out I think I want to do something, and really putting your money where your mouth is. And I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful to be connected to someone who has that, because when I am 2:00 in the morning and running on 3 days of only 4 hours of sleep, and I'm managing people during the day, and then I come home and I have a husband and a daughter, and then I start up, my company until really wee hours of the night, your positivity is infectious. And it's really nice to have someone is going to be there rooting for you just because you are there to really push people that you've already connected with in this space. Because I think you're the same way as I am, is that you really enjoy people that have that same amount of hustle. Yeah. And we all feed off of each other, and we all help each other continue the long game, So I think that, and I'm, still working through your modules in that spare time I have, So yeah, exactly. That 30 minutes on the drive home. But the things that you really focus on is very much this template of how you stay on track. And those are the things for me personally, like you said, the first Zoom call we had, I was like, let me get a notebook. I have to have a template, or I will be all over creation, because I am passionate about the growth of this company. I have so many ideas, and thank God for it. I'm so blessed and grateful to have those ideas. I'm human. We all run out of steam. We all run out of gas. So I think that you have to have a backbone and a template to follow. I think you offer that really, really well. But then the positivity that you have to continue pushing people, and you're so genuine in your resources of how you want to connect people, and you put your money where your mouth is, or your mouth where your money is, whatever. And it is nice to know that there are people there in the world that continue to do the same thing that you do and have the same kind of perspective, because you already know when you connect with people like that, you're going to be cheerleading for each other. Oh. So that's very nice. So thank you so much for that, Adam.
Can I hire you for my hype woman? Like, wow. Thank you for those words. But there's something that you said that I really want to highlight. And you talked about a template. And I think that's really important to address, especially because people are probably listening to just the snippets of your work-life imbalance that you mentioned.
You're right.
And they're like, oh, I can't do that. It's not for me. Well, here's the thing, guys. For one person, like literally sipping on a glass of water for 5 minutes in a 2-day stretch is all you need to feel centered. For someone else, they might need 4 hours in one day in order to feel like they can get it together. It's not a one size all fits approach. And I learned this very early on because I started my entrepreneurial journey as a nutrition consultant back in 2013. And I learned that very quickly. There is no cookie cutter plan. There is no one size fits all because everyone starts at a different place. Everyone has different standards and beliefs, and everyone has different goals. With those combined, you then have a different pace of what you can realistically maintain long term. And that's really, I think, should be everyone's goal is what's your long game? What are you looking to do? And take your brand or business or whatever that is 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Because this isn't like a short-term hobby. This is you. This is how you choose to show up in your career, with your friends, with your family, and for yourself. So I think that's an important point that I really want to highlight that you said. So thank you for pointing that out. But I talk about that all throughout the Script Your Brand e-course is what I'm telling you are the concepts, but I'm not saying print this and do this. What I'm saying is this is a structured flexibility approach. This is your through line. This is your template for the core concepts that work. But the flexibility piece is where you're starting. Okay, have you had a YouTube channel for 2 years and you're looking to get into video, or you're just starting out and you don't even know how to get onto YouTube? Where are you starting? That pace, your previous experience is going to be determined in part by that. What are your goals? What types of content in social media space do you enjoy making? Is it video? Is it audio? Do you like drawing? Are you a poet? It really depends on what you enjoy, because if you're doing stuff because it works or quote trending, but you don't like it, it's not going to work. I've seen it people crash and burn all the time. But the people that go the distance are the ones that approach creating a personal brand with this concept of structured flexibility, having the structure or plan from someone that actually does the work themselves and has not a one-time hit, not a one-hit wonder, but repeated success, so they can coach you through not if, but when those shortcomings happen, when you get into a situation where you feel like you made a big mistake, or if you're torn between one decision or another, or you have an investment opportunity, or you know, there's endless options. Having a guide to get you through those, or at least lead you to make the decision that's best for you and your interests with where your goals are, that's invaluable. The flexibility part, that's what works best for you. Because like I said, it comes back to self-care. So many people out there are saying that you have to meditate 2 hours a day and you need to walk, 3 hours before you eat and chew 40 times before you swallow. If it's not realistic, you're not going to do it. And if you don't do it, it ain't gonna work. The best plan is the one that works, because everyone says, which plan works? The plan that works is the plan that you work. That is the secret. So if you're able to find a plan or have a coach that can guide you to what optimally and realistically works for you, meeting you where you are to get you at a pace that you can maintain, leading you to the goal that you want to achieve, that's really the secret. So coming back to self-care, you said you're 30 minutes in a car. That might be all you need to feel like you've got your crap together, or at least, package it up for a bit until the next, you know what I'm talking about. But it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And this applies to nutrition. I've done nutrition consulting for years. This applies to physical fitness. This applies to personal branding. You have to find the strategy that you can maintain long-term. And that's exactly what you've done, because you find what works for you based on the work we've done. And I think it's absolutely incredible. And like I said at the beginning, I'm super inspired by who you are as a person and what you're doing, because you're doing it for the right reasons. And it's easy to talk this stuff, but guys, go look at her content. See what she does. See how she interacts with customers. Every day in her story, she's just giving love out to everyone that supports her all the time. She's in it for other people, but that's really a personal brand, knowing you, but doing it for others. That's what she's doing and why you're crushing it in every area of your life. And I know you're probably like, oh, no, I've got work to do. But again, you're crushing it. That's the reality. Okay, that's my assessment.
Oh, thanks, Adam. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think really quickly, I do want to say another thing that you focus on for people that is really important is authenticity. And I try to keep that at the center of my company. And for me, that looks like, I'm a pharmacist, so I can speak to the science behind ingredients, but I stick to natural so people feel good about that. And there'll be things that I won't be able to make because I know this synthetic ingredient works great, but I want to stick to, something natural. I want to stay authentic to my brand and who I am. And whatever that looks like for anyone, I think authenticity has to be at the center of that.
Yes.
And that ties in 100% to what you're saying about a structured flexibility. It also, AKA, is an authenticity that you keep kind of centered to who you are and what you are. So, and you're really great about making sure that people understand that and that they keep that in the center of who they are in their personal brand.
Well, I mean, you're living proof. Like, it's just, again, you're like, what you're doing is so remarkable. And it's on, like you say, thanks for, coaching me, but honestly, it's my privilege to see you working the plan, because that's when the plan works. But seeing you do that in all areas of your life is just astounding. And just wow. I'll just end with wow. How's that?
Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much. You've hyped me up on this Sunday before I go back to skincare.
Good. Now you can crank it out and turn those 24 hours into 42.
That's right. I've got a plan.
So I want people to really check out what you're about, because even if you're not into the skincare space, I think you guys could learn so much. First off, if you're listening to this, you probably have skin, so you should probably be taking care of it. So maybe you should reconsider not being in the skincare space as an interest. But regardless, I really encourage you guys to go and look at what she's doing. Her website is incredible. I highly recommend, by the way, to order her products. And that's one of the things I did as kind of recon, is I went and I did the customer experience, which was exemplary. Handwritten note, just so well packaged, prompt delivery, like the whole experience is just A+ status. But from a personal brand perspective, because if you're listening to this deep into the episode, you're likely interested in what works. Go and follow her, go and see her process, because what you see, they are snapshots, but if you keep following, you'll see that they are consistent, because she lives and breathes her brand, because that's who she is. So with that being said, setting up the stage here, where can people best connect with you? Where are you active on social, and where can they follow you to see your amazing process?
Oh, sure. So the website is www.imogeneandco.com. That's all one word. And it's Imogene with an E, which is a little different. I love that. I love that it's different. It's Emogene. On social media, on Facebook, it's Imogene & Co. And then on Instagram, it's and it's actually 2 underscores, and then Imogene & Co. and then 2 underscores. So yeah, go check it out. And I am all in my DMs and all in my emails, and I'm on text and I'm on Facebook Messenger all day and all night. So I'm happy to help people with any questions they may have and give true, honest recommendations, or just have the conversation about what makes them feel better or what problems they have with their skin.
100%. And she's legit, like she'll respond super fast. I'm amazed every time.
Notifications turned on all over, and so my phone is just like zzz.
Oh man. But yeah, so guys, I will have all of her contact info, all of her social media handles and her website in the show notes below, so you can go and check those out. Definitely recommend connecting with her, just for the sake that she's a genuinely good person. And we need more of those in our profession and in our world. So highly recommend to go and scope this amazing woman out and just put her in part of your network, because she's the real deal. She wants you to succeed. And it's a privilege to work with people like that are really doing the betterment for others. And that's how a personal brand thrives and survives long term. And you bring so much to the Script Your Brand Mastermind, the private group that we have on Facebook, in sharing your experiences and helping and supporting others. So many in our group have actually collaborated and done business with each other, because, I mean, people in our course, like, I don't just say, like, come apply, like, y'all have to, you got to be serious about this. But it's such a great environment, and it's created a community it's something that I'm honestly really proud of, because everyone in there is genuinely wanting to grow, not just themselves, but others through the process, because they learn so much, and it's just been so rewarding. So I just want to acknowledge you for being such a big part of that, and for just being an awesome person. So thank you for being you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for being you too.
I will keep becoming to be more and more weird and sharing all the nerd swag. So buckle up, Buttercup. All right, guys. So that was just such an honor of a podcast, and I'm just beaming. I'm inspired. So I'm going to go and crush my personal brand goals from the inspiration that I got from this. I hope that you all were inspired as well. I highly recommend sharing this episode wherever you're listening to podcasts. The Fit Pharmacist Healthcare Podcast is on all social media platforms, all podcast platforms, so that you can get the best to your earbuds every single week with the new episode that we dispense. If you are on iTunes, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review. That is how we grow this community and sharing information from real people actually doing the work and sharing the strategy to help you dispense your full potential. Guys, this is Dr. Adam Martin of The Fit Pharmacist signing off with the one and only Allyson Brennan. Go forth, be great, dispense your full potential, and script your brand.
I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. It's a day.